Welcome to another episode of my Stitch Diaries. Today I'm going to talk about things I've been making, things that have arrived and plans basically. So I had a lovely thing come through the post and it was from Sharon, right? And it was, I was so excited. Now, I did know Sharon was sending me some yarn. She said to me, would you like some Arnie and Carlos yarn? And I said, oh Sharon, yes please, if she, if she doesn't want it. So I was expecting that she'd send this at some point, and it's arrived, but she popped some other things in. So here it is. It's 4-ply basically sock yarn, and how exciting. So I can't wait to make some socks with these. So yeah, I'm building up my sock yarn collection, aren't I? So I'll have lots of sock knitting to do. I think what I could do with doing is having some more plain colours, so I can do contrast heels and cuffs and toes and things. But I know I've got a mustard, so the mustard would go quite well with this, wouldn't it? So thank you so much, Sharon. I'm so excited, and that is going to go in my sock knitting bag, which I now keep for just sock knitting, which is very exciting. So I'm just going to pop those there. Now, the other things that Sharon popped in, she said these are my favourite needle threaders. I keep them everywhere, lol. And look at those, aren't they fantastic? So I've not used any yet because I wanted to show you on my video. So thank you again, Sharon. These look absolutely brilliant. I'm going to put one everywhere like what you said. So I'll just pop those there so I don't lose them, so I can see them. And she put in a post-it note saying, saw this and thought of you. And it was in one of our old sewing magazines. And it is this. And it's the Coastal Bird Patterns, and it's FPP, my favourite kind. Now, do you remember me saying I'm not overly fond of English PP, but I love FPP. And in the Coastal Birds, there's a puffin, there's it says a common gull. Yeah, so it sounds a bit mean, doesn't it? Common gull. And there's it looks like an oyster catcher. So yeah, so thank you so much, Sharon. I will definitely make those, definitely. So thank you for those. It was so exciting, and it just came at the right time because I have had a bit of misfortune this week. So yeah, I'll talk about it. Shall I talk? Yeah, I'll talk to you about it now. I don't want to start on something too negative. I'll leave the negative till later on. So, something I've been making. Now, usually what I do is I make things, I share them on YouTube, then I post them on social media. Very occasionally, I'll do it the other way around. Now, just because I wasn't really feeling the videos, because I was feeling a bit under the weather, a bit down and things, I was doing it the other way, because I was basically, the sewing that I was getting done felt like a job, even though it's not my job. I was in here, I felt like job like sewing, and then when I was relaxing in the evening I was knitting. So things that I was sewing, I told you that I was sewing my nan's dressing gown. I've done that. It wasn't a dressing gown. When I got it out the packet, it was a nightie. So I've got sorted my nan's nightie, and that's gone back to my nan. I've done my son's trousers, and now I've got more trousers to sort out. You just think you get into the stage where you can do a bit of fun sewing, and then it's still, it's my husband. He's got these work trousers and he wants me to save them. So there's this big gaping hole here, and there's a hole on the leg as well, further down somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to be fixing these up. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing free motion on it, putting interfacing and doing free motion to fix those up. So that is separate. That I've got a machine set up for that at the moment, and another machine that I used for machine embroidery, where it's computerised and does it for you. I'm using that as a sewing machine at the moment. So yeah, so I can kind of just sit there. Mind you, there is a load of junk all on that table now. So yeah, that's my next bit of sewing. However, I've decided my next bit of fun sewing is going to be Hamish the Highlander. That is what I'm going to do next, Paula. So that I'm really looking forward to doing Hamish, another of the Sarah Peel animals. Now I've had a look on the Cool Crafting website to see if Hamish has an outfit, and he doesn't have an outfit. It's basically up to you what you sew. So yeah, just leave it with me. I'll have to figure an outfit out, and I thought he'd be a lovely addition for a decoration for my Burns night, which we'll be celebrating later this month. So if you watch my videos in January last year, you'll see all about the antics for Burns night. I'd made quite a number of things, but this year I think Hamish is going to be the only new make I do for Burns night, because I've got so many things already from last year. So I'll just have a sip of coffee, bear with me. As you see, I've not got a craft mug. If I'd made it myself, I would have had a craft mug, but my husband's made this for me. But I do like this mug. It's lovely and big, and it's from IKEA. And I've actually got it on this. Do you know when you put all your Christmas decorations away and you always manage to leave something? Well, this was it. I managed to leave this. I did make this many years ago. I think it was a Crafty Gemini project. But yeah, I made that. And it has got stain. It looks like it's got some kind of coffee or tea stain on it. So yeah, I'm using it there. He did bring me a rich tea biscuit as well, bless him. So that's that. So that's some plans, and I've got other plans that I haven't told you about just yet. Now, I have been doing some knitting. Now, I've got a video that I'm going to be putting live. It's all uploaded onto YouTube. I'm going to put it live. So maybe I'll put it live. I might have put it live before this video, and it's basically, no, I won't. I'll put this video up first, and then I'll put that one live after. So basically, it was just basically me knitting the Arnie and Carlos bunny from the Easter Knit books, and it was just me working round 18 to about 21, because I've knitted this bunny twice now, and I went wrong on the first one. The bunnies came out okay, but I knitted another one because I wanted perfection, basically. So this is the book it's out of. It's an old publication. I think it's 2014, 13, something like that. I think I had this one when it was released. I think I had the Knitted Christmas Ball book a year after it was released, I think. But this one does tell you somewhere 2013. Yeah, I had this I think when it was released, and all I've done is an egg from it, one egg, but now I've done another egg, and I've done 2 bunnies and little jumpers. So this was my first attempt. Now, you were supposed to knit it in double knit, and I knitted it in 4-ply, but I did use the needle size suggested. I didn't change the needles, but the inner bit was double knit. The inner bit, they did come out a bit bigger because the yarn was thicker. So obviously 4-ply is thinner than DK weight yarn, and they did come out a bit bigger, but I've still managed to use them and they look okay. Now, what went wrong is when I misread it really on 20. The paragraph, it's a paragraph for round 20 on the head, and it is quite involved, and it all went okay, but I went wrong at the last hurdle. The last thing it says is knit 21. Now, knit 21 would be fine if you were counting from the flap over here, so it'd be 5 across here, and then knitting these 5 stitches you've picked up round here, and then wrap back round to the beginning. But where I'd picked up my stitches, and then I counted 21 from there, which then took me past my starting point, which I didn't think anything of it. Then you knit a whole row, and then basically on the other rows you do decreases, and it just meant my decreases were in the wrong place. So I was getting a decrease coming up here and a decrease coming up here, and that was wrong. The decreases were supposed to be here, but I didn't know. I wasn't sure. It felt wrong when I was doing it, but I just couldn't know how to rectify it, but I continued anyway, and overall the bunny is lovely. I know that a few of you have seen this on social media already, but then I wanted perfection, didn't I? I wanted to do it again in the right way, which I've gone ahead and done. So I've filmed myself knitting a few of these rows, which that video will be going live. So obviously for most of you, you probably don't even want to watch that video. It's going to be rather boring. I'm not recommending you watch that video. It is purely for people that are knitting the bunnies out of this book and they're having trouble, because I've spoken to somebody on Facebook and they've attempted this bunny 3 times and then they've gave up, and I think that's awful, because there's so much knitting you have to do to get to the head, because you'd have knitted a leg and a foot, another leg and a foot, then the body up to here, then the arms, and then join them. You really get into the end of the project, and it just seems such a shame that somebody would give up at that point. So that's why I've done this video that's going to be coming up after this one, that I'll put live pretty quickly after I release this one. So I've got a hair on my face because I think that's awful. So hopefully it will be useful for some people. So I absolutely love these bunnies. Like I say, one's knitted in 4-ply, one's knitted in DK, the same size needle, one's wool, one's acrylic. One is not so perfect, one is perfect, but I love them both anyway. The jumpers, now that yarn is thicker than that one, that's Aran weight, that's double knit, that's acrylic, that's wool and acrylic. However, they've come up very similar size, because that would have come up bigger because it's thicker yarn than that one. However, I didn't have the right size needles. I had to use half a size smaller. So I didn't mind because I knew that was coming out smaller. But before I knitted the jumper for this one, I made sure I got the yarn in, the correct size needle in. I needed a 5mm double pointed needle, which I didn't have, because you use 4.5 on the rib and then 5 on the jumper. And that one I used 4 on the rib and 4.5 on the jumper, but they've come out very similar size, because obviously the same different size needles. Yeah, if you understand what I'm saying, that's thinner yarn, that's thicker yarn, that should have come out bigger, but I've used smaller needles, so they've come out about the same. Right, hope that makes sense. And I've also, out of this book, I've knitted another egg. Now I have got another egg I've knitted from this book, and it's in my loft. I knitted it years ago and it's up with my Easter decorations, but this is my second egg. Sorry, I've got something on my face. I get in here and I get covered in dust. I can see there's all dust on this wooden man. I think it just gets on my eyeballs and things, you know. So that's another make. That's the hair. Let me show you that. That's the Easter bunny. Sorry, the light is shining. And that is it's called the hair around an egg. That's called, and they've done pink legs, but I've done cream legs on mine. It looks like my bunnies then, but I didn't do a bunny with a yellow jumper. I suppose I could do, couldn't I? Have a bunny exactly like that with a yellow jumper. So now, work in progress. I am knitting something else from this book. Now this, I'm going to throw the sad story in now, actually. Unfortunately, I had a hen that was looking a bit unwell, and I took her to the vet. Now, if you see a bird that's looking unwell, it's normally bad news, because they hide illness. Now, what I'd say is she looked a bit swollen on her head, and I thought she had bird flu. So I did speak to the authorities, and I was worried, because if you have got a bird with bird flu, they will euthanise all your birds. I've only got 2 now anyway, because I lost one last year to a fox that came in the day when we was changing the fence between the neighbours. But yeah, so we took her in, and the vets said we'll see her outside, obviously because her cross-contamination and things. And the authority said we can take her, they were going to see us outside, but they kept us waiting for 45 minutes, and they said, and I phoned them saying, you haven't forgotten us, have you? And they said, well, no, we've had an emergency come in, but what we'll do is we'll come and take Dottie off you, and we'll give you a call later. So they took Dottie off us, we went home, and then, it was such a worrying day. And then I got the phone call, and it was when I was knitting this bunny as well, got the phone call, and they asked permission to put her to sleep. And I was, obviously, I have cried quite a bit. I know, I can't believe I'm actually so upset about a hen, but I've been extremely upset about my hen. And actually, I was trying to knit to help me cope with the grief of losing my hen and having to say, yes, you can put her to sleep, which is a difficult decision to say, isn't it? That's when the pattern was going wrong on the face, and I was getting so frustrated. I really could have done without it. I could have done with it going all lovely. So I've had a much nicer experience, and obviously I'm starting to feel a little bit better. But however, yesterday, there is a point I'm telling you this, it leads to this book. Yesterday we went to we had to settle the bill. So yeah, we had to settle the bill, £40. We've had to pay the vet for basically putting our chicken to sleep. They wouldn't basically release her body, they wouldn't let us have her body back. They said they'd have to incinerate her. So so it's been quite upsetting, and it's cost us £40 for the privilege of putting our pet to sleep, which is really sad, isn't it? I said to my husband, I'd really love to have a charity, like run a charity that would basically support people that have lost a pet. It's bad enough when you have a pet put down and then you have to pay for the privilege of having it put to sleep. It just seems really cruel, doesn't it? So anyway, we went to settle the bill and pick up our pet carrier, and it really broke my heart because there was a little sticker on the pet carrier saying Dottie Roberts, and I was, oh gosh, and I've had to put this empty carrier in the car. So yeah, I was a bit upset again yesterday. I was kind of starting to feel a bit better, and then it all brought it back. And we've got one hen. I've been absolutely spoiling my one hen rotten. You shouldn't really keep a hen on its own, but obviously I've been keeping an eye on her. She's not showing any sign of illness at all, but keeping an eye on her. But we will be introducing another chicken, or maybe another couple of chickens later this year. But obviously we've just got to give her a bit of time at the moment just to keep an eye on her. I don't think she's going to get poorly, but yeah, I'm just keeping an eye. And thank my lucky stars, and thank the Lord that they haven't made me put the other chicken down, because do you know what, I think that would have tipped me over the edge, having an empty chicken coop. However, right, I'm knitting a commemorative chicken. Now I've only done a little bit of it so far, and it is from this book, and it's right in the back of the book. I'll just find it. And this is the chicken. And it's lovely, isn't it? I absolutely love this hen. She's gorgeous. And I've started her. All I've done is one foot and one leg. Oh. And this is it. So basically, I've had to just leave it on 2 needles, and now I've got to start working on the other one. So those are the front 3 toes, or claws, whatever you call them. And that's the back one here. And you do knit with this, you do knit a heel flap. It's good if you do sock knitting, because you're quite familiar. You knit a flap with this and pick up stitches, and then when you've knitted your flap, you leave it, make another toe, this back one, and then you attach it into the heel, and then you start working it round and decreasing. And then if you wonder what all these stitch markers are, I mark my start of the row with my end. I just keep moving it back and forth. But when I'm doing a long stockinette stitch, I lose track. I do a tally, but I lose track with my family. So you start it on the 6th row. So I've marked the 6th stitch, the 16th, the 26th and the 36th. So it just I can keep an eye on it as I go along. I still do my tally tally, but it just keeps me on track if people start talking to me, which I'm always getting distracted when I'm knitting with my family in the evening. So that is one. Now I haven't knitted the toes like in the book. I've done them the right amount of stitches, but they knit them on 3 needles in the round, or 3 needles in the round. But I've done I-cord. But I think I saw Arnie and Carlos, and I said I think when they released this book, they didn't know how to do I-cord. They weren't familiar with it, but I think they are now, because they've done the doll fingers in the Greatest Knit book, which I brought down. The doll fingers are in I-cord in this book, because there is a doll book and I've knitted the doll, but she doesn't have fingers, but they've done a little bit of an extra bit. They've put crochet ears and I-cord fingers for the dolls in this book, for people that have got the doll book already. So that is my progress. It's my commemorative chicken. Now, I wanted to make this chicken, at some point. I've had this book years, but it's just kind of, I've been knitting from this book anyway. It's kind of made me, do it. But however, I've got some lovely brown yarn. It's a mixture of acrylic and wool, and it's the Starcraft Life Special DK, but I've only got about 30 grams of it, and it does say you need 50, but it always tells you need more than you need. So I will be playing, excuse the pun, yarn chicken when I'm making this chicken, unless before I get to the brown bit I purchase something else. So I might have Pip, I might have a little bit of a look in Hobbycraft and see if I can get some nice brown wool from there. So right now, what do I need to say? So that's the Easter book things I'm making and things I've made, and obviously there's a video coming up of me working those rounds. Now, you'll have seen Magnus, who I've made out of the Arnie and Carlos Knit and Crochet Garden, and you'll know that I made this jumper for Magnus before. I've made it for Harry Potter, but I've done it in Gryffindor colours. Harry Potter is a character, if you're not aware. I thought I'd mention this because actually one of my closest friends has never watched Harry Potter. So he's the main character. This is Harry Potter, right? So this is the doll, and I've knitted him a jumper because he's in a house. It's called Gryffindor. There's a few different houses at this school, so he's in Gryffindor, so that's his jumper, but it's actually a Magnus jumper. The only thing is that's 4-ply and that's double knit, but it's, like I say again, it was supposed to be double knit, but I had that nice black 4-ply and I wanted to use it with the glittery Lorex. So do you know what, I might pop all these on here actually. I don't know if you can see them anyway, can you? Can you see all the little characters sitting behind there? Right, so I've knitted, you've already seen this jumper before in my videos and on social media, but I've knitted it again, and I've knitted Ron this jumper. Now, in the movie, I think it's in the second movie, The Chamber of Secrets, Ron's mum, Mrs. Weasley, is a knitter. Now, I say she's a knitter, she's got magic knitting needles. She doesn't have to do the knitting needles. The knitting does it on its own. Wouldn't we love those? Mind you, I love doing the knitting myself, but it would be nice, wouldn't it, having some extra knitting done for you. So, yeah, this is the jumper she makes. So it's a Magnus Mouse jumper, but I've just knitted it in a solid colour, and I've put the R on it. And how I got the R, in the Easter knit book, there's some lovely little jumpers they call them egg cozy sweaters, and you can put letters on them for your family's names. So in the back of this Easter book there are some charts for letters. Let me find them. So that's where I got my R from. I think I've just made mine. When I did it, I've just made it 1 square longer here and 1 square longer here. So yeah, that's how I got my R for Ron. Right, so yeah, he did have that jumper in the movie. So yeah, I'm really delighted with those, and I have shared those on social media. And In my last video, I said I'd ordered another character from the movie, and I said I'd ordered Dobby the house elf. Now, I did order him from Hamley's toy store in London. Now, if I spent a little bit more, there was a code, and I could have got free postage. So I tried to look for some other Harry Potter dolls, ones that I didn't have already, and they didn't have any more. So I thought, is there anything else I'd like? And I actually ordered 2 Disney dolls instead. I haven't got those to hand. If you'd like to see those in my next video, I would be happy to share those with you if somebody says. But yeah, obviously I've been showing the Harry Potter ones because obviously I've been making clothes for them. I don't think I've been making clothes for those Disney dolls, but I just like to have them because, you know, I'm just a bit of I do like some Disney movies and things. I'm a bit of a girl like that. So yeah, basically what happened is Hamley's toy store emailed me to say, I'm really sorry, but we couldn't fulfill your order fully, so we'll be refunding you some of it, but we'll be posting the other bit out. And it was Dobby they didn't send, and they still say Dobby's in stock, and they haven't got him in stock. But I've managed to order him, and he's arrived yesterday from Smith's toy store. So I'll just put the boys down, or shall I put those? Yeah, I'll put them over here. You probably can't see them with the egg, can you? In the way. Yeah, I've got a happy gang going on. All my things I've been making this week. I feel I've actually made quite a lot, haven't I? So here is Dobby. Now, Dobby, right, now you might think, gosh, why on earth do you want this? If you don't watch the films, you might be a bit freaked out, but if you watch the films, Dobby is a very, very loved character in the Harry Potter movies, and I love him. He's lovely, and I'm so happy to have him. Now, he's holding a sock, right, and this sock has some great significance, it does, in the movie, so I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it for people that have never seen it. But yeah, it does have some great significance, and I'm just really happy to add Dobby to my collection. And obviously he does have a scruffy outfit, but that's how he's dressed in the movie. So I don't think I'll be making anything for Dobby. Part of me feels like giving him something decent to wear, but that's how he's dressed in the movie. And obviously with the things I've made for the dolls, I'm just kind of enhancing the things they wore in the movies anyway. So that is what is going on at the moment. Now, I have got a delivery due today with more Harry Potter dolls, right? I am trying to collect them. I'm starting to feel a little bit fearful that if I don't get them when I can get them, I might not get them. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be left with you know, half a collection. I'd like to have the collection of them, and there's not a great deal of them, luckily, so it's not, you know, some ridiculous collection. There's not hundreds of them or anything. So, and it'd be quite nice then if any new releases come out, then I can just get the new releases as they come out. So that is what's going on at the moment. So up and coming. Oh, one more thing, Harry Potter, because I've took the boys' cloaks off them, I've put their cloaks on these stands. I've got these dress forms, these miniature ones, and I've put their cloaks on there. So over on the shelf where I keep the Harry Potter dolls, I keep these cloaks now as well on my shelf. So my husband said I could do with probably a bit of a display cabinet for them. So yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. So maybe eventually when I revamp this room and it's a bit bigger, maybe I'll have a bit of a display cabinet or something for them. So yeah, so anyway, so that's the things I've been making. Things I'm planning is Hamish, and work in progress is the knitted chicken, the commemorative chicken out of the Arnie and Krylos knit book. Now, talk about knitted balls. One thing I haven't mentioned about the knitted balls, I've only got the plain one in here with me from the Arnie and Carlos 55 balls to knit book. When you do your chain, you make sure that you, like, I don't think I've done it, I don't know if I've done it with this one, I'm not too sure, but I have with the others. You make sure you take your yarn all the way through the ball, because I have seen some pictures showing their balls and their balls are sagging like that, and obviously that would stop that sagging. You don't want to pull it too much because you'll end up making your ball look like a fruit, like an apple or an orange or something. But yeah, but remember to do that. That's one thing I haven't mentioned with the knitted balls, with the knit along that we're doing. Now I hope Mary Angela doesn't mind, but Mary Angela has sent me a photograph of her first ball. Now Mary Angela and I are we were the ones that said we're going to do this knit along. We're going to knit 6 balls this year from that book, and then it just kind of expanded. Other people wanted to get involved, and Mary Angela has sent me this photograph of her first ball. So well done, Mary Angela, and I really appreciate you sharing your balls. So for anybody else who is joining in with this knit along that are doing 6 balls this year, one every other month, if you want to send me a picture of your ball, I'd be very happy to share it if you don't mind me sharing it on my YouTube. So that's lovely. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It wasn't a planned knit along or anything. It's nothing big and official. It's just 2 friends wanting to do it and other people want to get involved. So it's not some massive thing, but yeah, it's lovely that people want to get involved. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of my Stitch Diaries. And oh yeah, and I just want to mention my youngest son is 14, not 15. I think I said he was 15 in my last video. I had a bit of a brain fog, but he will be 15 in March. I think that's what it is. I'm thinking, and he's got the next birthday of any people in this house, so obviously I'm thinking ahead for that. So yeah, so that's it. And my eldest son has been promoted in his part-time job in Starbucks. He's now coffee master, and my middle son is doing awfully well at college, and he's doing different taster things on Fridays, and now he's in the animal department and he's absolutely loving it, and he's even enjoyed mopping the tortoise area. And I said, I know who to come to now when I need some mopping done, don't I? So anyway, thank you so much for joining me for another Stitch Diaries. I really appreciate people watching my video and all the comments and likes that I get. And I never normally say this, but if you don't want to miss a video, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because if you hit that bell, every time I post a video you'll get notified about it. I don't normally say that because I don't like to be some kind of beg, oh please like and subscribe, but you know what, I think it is worth a mention just in case some people don't know that they can do that. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.